Alrighty, guys. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back here to another live stream, my friends. Hope everyone is having a beautiful Tuesday evening. It is good to have you guys here for another important update, my friends, as we are watching the tropics. Yes, we are watching the tropics, my friends. It's that time of the year. This time, it is not in the Atlantic. I'm going to go ahead and say it off the bat. This is actually the first storm in the Pacific, and it could cause some problems here for some people. But anyways, folks, hope everyone's doing good. Let's see who we got here today. We have Brian saying hello. What's up, Brian? What's up, White Wolf? What's up, Chris saying hello? What's up, Ponderosa? What's up, The Gaming? Do I remember you? Unfortunately, no. I'm sorry. There's a lot of people that come in and out of here, man. It's a little hard to remember a lot of people. I'm sorry. I can barely even remember what I did yesterday, so. But I hope you're doing good, my friend. So we are watching the tropics. We have now a 100% chance of formation between the next, 100% chance of formation here within the next 2 to 7 days regarding Invest 90E. That is the storm system that is popping out here. Now, looking at the satellite imagery here, you can kind of see where this is at. It still is a little bit disorganized here overall, but we are getting some spin starting to occur. And with that being said, let's take a peek at it on the infrared view. So let's hop you guys over here to this program here. Actually, let's do full screen here for you guys. So you can see here's the satellite imagery of the storm. Now, the center of this system is kind of right in here. So this is kind of right where the center of the tropical cyclone is, and we are starting to get some of that counterclockwise activity going on. As you guys can see, you guys can see that spin that's going on with this storm. Now, right now, it is fairly disorganized. You can see that there's a bunch of scattered storms all around the center of this system here overall. Now, what we need to have happen is all of that convection, a lot of that storm activity to go towards the center. And that'll indicate good organization, which right now it's very disorganized, but it should get a hold of itself here within the next little bit. And like I said, you guys can already see we are definitely starting to kind of get that look here to it overall. Now, switching over here to the true water vapor here, you guys can see that we have some dry air off to the northwest. Now, right now, the storm system is sitting in some pretty good moisture currently. We do have ourselves a pretty good amount of moisture throughout, allowing for good convection, some good thunderstorm activity to occur. But yeah, to the northwest, there is a bit of dry air, and that actually is going to be a problem down in time for this storm system. Not really anytime soon, but it will become a problem whenever we look in the models and stuff like that here soon. That is going to be a potential issue. So, anyways, what's up, Winnie? Hope you're doing good. We'll get into the spaghetti models here in a second, guys. Let's see here. Easily says hurricane season is here. Sheesh. Yeah. It is. It is, my friend. Yeah, the Eastern Pacific season's already started. We are just days away at this point from the Atlantic hurricane season, so we'll have to look out for it. What's up, Renita? Saying, hey, Andrew. What's up? Hope you're doing good, my friend. It is good to have you here. But anyways, folks, let's go ahead and take a peek here at the tracks here. We do have ourselves the models, the spaghetti models now available. So this is the spaghetti models here. You can see that there is a little bit of spacing between the models, but the general idea of the system is fairly similar between the models here overall. So, obviously the median is kind of right between these, these areas here. Now, from the latest guidance, what it does look like is that this thing could become a concern, and will likely be a concern for Mexico's western coast, because the storm system actually in its later track potentially could draw its way towards Mexico's coast. Now, there is some good news here. Okay, the good news is by the time that the storm system does approach, these areas here just south of Baja California, this system will likely be a bit weaker because of that dry air that we were looking at there on the satellite imagery. That will be a concern later on down in the development cycle. Okay, so that in the beginning, right now, we are, under development. There's good moisture, there's good, the sea surface temperatures are warm enough. I mean, everything's good to go, basically. But yeah, later down in its time, it will run into a bit of dry air, which will be kind of a bit of a concern overall. What's up, Aiden? Hope you're doing good. What's up, Zen Pro, or Pyro, sorry. Sade, how are y'all doing? I'm doing pretty good, my friend. Hopefully you're doing good yourself. So, that is the spaghetti models. Now, hopping back here to the storm. Here is the GEFS ensembles here. So this is just another model with a bunch of members here. You can see that the majority of them are kind of median. The median lines right here, where this black line is, in which a lot of those members do kind of have it curving back towards Mexico over the next little bit. Within the next 4 days or so. Working its way up here throughout the Eastern Pacific and eventually kind of turning back here into Western Mexico. Now, overall, with this storm system, and, depending on how strong it gets, how big the storm gets, there very well could be some coastal impacts, regarding like, rip current concern, for people who are out on the beaches. It could be a big problem. And, you definitely need to be aware of that if you are going to the beaches, because I know at this point in time, everything's been, warming up, of course. Everybody's wanting to go out to the beaches and everything, in which, if you're at the beaches, this could be a concern, to the people who are out there. So, there's the GEFS ensembles. Now, pulling up the GEPS ensembles, we don't have much data yet, but kind of a similar type of track here. There's a lot of scatter in the members here overall, so not really much useful information there. Now, here's something that's very interesting. Now, this is the intensity guidance here. This is basically those hurricane models that we were looking at, basically their take on the strength here. Now, as you can see, a good 90% of the models do expect the storm to become a tropical storm. So, will this thing likely become a named storm? Yes, this thing will likely gain a named storm. Now, will it reach hurricane status? I wouldn't rule it out. Now, right now, you can see the hurricane models only show one member kind of going into the category 1 strength overall. I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be anything above a Cat 1 as of right now overall. But when it comes to it, I do think that tropical storm status would be quite likely. And if we kind of take some of the median, of this here, roughly, you can see that there's a good shot we could get mid-level tropical storm, between 40 and 60 knots or so, sustained could be a really good possibility here overall. So that is what we're looking out there for. And so whenever it comes to it, like I said, we'll make sure to keep you guys informed and everything like that. And we'll make sure to keep you guys overall weather aware. Anyways, let's see here. Will Southern California be hit like happened to Hillary? No. California won't be impacted by this storm system. It's really a lot of western Mexico that will. This storm system is far away from California. I was talking Baja California, which is this peninsula here, overall, in which there's the Gulf of California here. So it could impact some of those regions, yes. But yeah, California, the state, no, it's not going to cause any impacts. Proxy, what's up, Prox? A member for 32 months, man. It's good to see you, Prox. Thank you so much. Saying close to 3 years supporting the best weather forecast stream on YouTube. Keep up the great work, Andrew. Proxy, thank you so much for that. That is really sweet of you, my friend. Thank you so much. Category 3 for 32 months. Wow. Proxy, you are an OG, my friend. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Y'all, could you give Proxy a big thank you? I really, really appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much, Proxy. That is really, really nice of you. Thank you. But yeah, so hopping back over here, let's go ahead and hop on back to the full screen here. So let's go ahead and take a look at some models, actually. You know what? We're going to have to switch over here, pull up the models overall. All right, so we're actually gonna take a look at the GFS first here. It's good, it's good to pull multiple models instead of just one. So looking at the American GFS, this is the 18 Zulu run. The most recent GFS run that we do have here. Zen says, is there a spot in the Atlantic too? No, as of right now, there is not. There's a lot of hype going around, people saying that there's a system heading for the Gulf, which that's not true. So if you see anything about that, it's wrong. GFS was just being stupid, showing, really at a ridiculously far time of storms kind of, a system rolling through, but it's not going to happen. It's too far out. At least the guidance is not really there yet. So, just ignore it. Anyways, but the Eastern Pacific, that's a different story. Yes, we do have a system that we are watching here. So, anyways, GFS here, we work our way down in time. Now, we are expecting rapid development here to occur. Pretty much, overnight here, going our way here into just basically tomorrow. We're going to be really picking up quite a bit of activity here. In which the GFS is certainly not as aggressive as it used to be. The GFS used to be very aggressive with the storm system, showing like 950 millibars or whatever. Classic GFS, It's just what GFS does. What's up, Mia? Welcome. What's up, Yoland? Hello from Canada. What's up? Good to have you here, neighbor. Let's see. Thank you, Renita. I appreciate that. But yeah, the GFS here is certainly more tame. It certainly is more tame than the previous runs that it did. So the 18 Zulu here suggests, kind of in the realm of maybe lower 990s, upper 980 millibar range here, which, that would put us in about tropical storm status overall. So that is that. Now, whenever it comes to it, taking a look here at the Euro, the ECMWF here, this is a little bit weaker, but generally the same concern. The Euro and the ECMWF and the GFS here is relatively in sync here. The ECMWF, the European model here, shows the pressure more in the upper 990s at maximum, lower 1,000 millibar range, which, could be a depression or a tropical storm, more than likely maybe a weak tropical storm here. there overall. So that right there, there is a bit of agreement there in terms of kind of the track here, heading towards Baja, California, should kind of fizzle out before it reaches there, due to some dry air. Hopping our way over here to CMC, this is another model here. Whenever it comes to it here overall, the CMC is kind of similar with the Euro, kind of similar with what the European model is kind of suggesting here. You can kind of see how the pressure gets down into the lower 1,000 millibar range, or the upper 990s overall. So that's what the CMC model suggests. And then lastly, Icon, which everybody loves for some reason. Well, actually, we're going to hop to the 18 Zulu for that one because the new one's not done rendering here. But yeah, regarding the Icon here, this model kind of has it turning farther west and then making a sudden easterly turn for some reason. This one's kind of an outcast model. Pressure does not even dip below 1,000 millibars here. So it's a little bit off as, comparing to, the other models, essentially. But from what you can note, none of the main models here really dip below into the 980s even. Most of them are kind of in the range of the 990 millibar range overall. So final verdict here, between the models, it seems like, we're probably going to get a tropical storm. It seems very likely that we're going to get a tropical storm. I wouldn't rule out hurricane potential, but the odds as of right now are, not super likely. Tropical storm formation at this point, is very likely. I do think we will definitely get this being a named storm here. Now, hopping back to GFS for a moment, there is something I do want to kind of go over here. And remember that dry air that we were talking about, when we were looking at the satellite imagery overall. So if we hop back over to that, we'll take a look at the 700 to 300 millibar relative humidity. Now, this is taking the moisture from the lower mid-atmosphere to the upper atmosphere. And indicated here in the brown here, the brown is representing a relatively dry atmosphere. Now, for tropical, storm activity, thunderstorm development, you need moisture, right? And that's kind of indicated in this bluish, like I said, this is kind of this bluish green color here overall. So that is that. Now, whenever it comes to it, working our way down here in time, you can kind of see how, over the next couple of days, by the way, the time, here, let's go ahead and line this up for you guys. Time's in the top right here. So as we work our way down in time here, you can see that, we hold on to a pretty good amount of moisture here overall. And you can see here, this is kind of for the afternoon here on the 29th, essentially. So we work our way down in time, and right as we approach our way right around the 30th, going into the 31st, you can kind of see that drier air here, that brown starts to kind of wrap into the cyclone here because, the circulation, you can see the counterclockwise circulation goes as follows. And so this is basically starting to pull in a lot of drier air, essentially here. Yo, dude! Holy cow! Thank you so much, Proxy, with the $100 super chat. Holy cow, dude! Proxy, saying thanks for all you do for us, Andrew. You are welcome. Oh my goodness. No freaking way, man. Proxy, thank you so much. You guys, please give Proxy a big thank you for that. That is, wow. That's really sweet of you, my friend. That is really, really, really sweet of you. Thank you so much. Sharon, no. To answer your question, I appreciate you thanking me for that, but I do, but no. Proxy, once again, thank you so much, though. I really appreciate it. That is really, really sweet of you. Once again, hats off to you, Prox. Thank you. If you guys could, please give Proxy a thank you in the chat. That would be greatly appreciated. Proxy, you are amazing. I appreciate you very, very much. So thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so like I was mentioning, going back here, the dry air really does build into the storm system here overall, and that's what's going to really allow That's what's I can't even English. That's what's going to really allow for the storm system to kind of fizzle out, is because the fact that we're getting dry air infiltrated into the storm system here is going to allow for less convection and less thunderstorm activity within the storm to continually cycle the storm, right? So whenever that dry air gets in, that's going to cut off a lot of the a lot of that convection overall, which is going to essentially kill out the storm here. Now, let's talk potential impacts here. So let's go ahead and hop our way over here to the actually let's go to the HWRF model here. We're going to take a look at the lower dynamics here, basically the lower level wind shear. This is the 18 Zulu here on the HWRF. We work our way down in time. Now, I want to go ahead and mention that the HWRF is a very aggressive model, as you could probably tell here, suggesting none other than the 970 millibar range, mid-lower 970s, potentially, according to the HWRF. Now, that is more of the aggressive models here, so, don't automatically assume that, this is going to happen, this is going to be the way it is, because, it's probably not, to be honest with you. But anyways, I mean, you could see here the HRR, or H, not double R. What's an H double R? I know the H triple R, not H double R. Oh, buddy. It's been a night, man. But according to the HWRF, I have to get used to getting back in the grind of hurricane speech. It's been a while. I'm a little rusty. But yeah, you can see that it does kind of develop an eye here according to this model, but we'll see. We'll see. It is once again kind of more the aggressive models here overall. But there really could be some coastal concerns. Those winds are going to be really kicking up here. Potentially tropical. Overall tropical. Storm activity could be really, really possible. So we are going to have to keep an eye out there for that, because that really could be a big concern overall. That really could be a big concern for some of the coastlines here, which we'll see, which we'll definitely see here. Chris, coming in with a $10 super chat, my friend. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, see you later, Sharon. That was greatly appreciated. Thank you so much, Chris. You are awesome, my friend. Thank you for the support. Y'all give Chris a big thank you. Dude, thank you so much, man. Chris, you've been awesome, dude. I really appreciate you. I really, really appreciate you. Anyways, but let's see here. Yeah, see you later, Sharon. But yeah, so like I mentioned, the HWRF here is unlikely to be the scenario of what's actually going to occur, because this model is definitely pretty pretty aggressive here overall. Let's see here. What's up, Noah? Brady says, could this bring heavy rain to Arizona? That far out is just kind of a little too extensive, but looking at GF, here, let's take a look at that real quickly. Let's hop over here to the EPAC. This thing does kind of fizzle out here over Mexico. Yeah, I doubt Arizona is going to get anything out of this here, actually, because it's going to be moving likely in the opposite direction, to be honest. Most of the models, like I mentioned, have this thing kind of going here towards the Baja California, the Gulf of Baja California. Kind of goes somewhere out there before that dryer starts getting into it. But yeah, Arizona, yeah, way up there, no. I don't think so. Anyways, something will try to form in the Gulf on the 12th of June. That's way too far out, Silent. That's way too far out. So we are just going to have to see what happens. But it's too far out. There's a lot of people out there who's like, oh my gosh, there's going to be this tropical cyclone in the Gulf. It's coming. No, it's not. Right now, Hurricane Center has nothing on it, for one. Two, a singular model run is suggesting tropical activity in the Gulf, and it's in the extended range. It is bound to change. And yet people are going crazy because of a single model run, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a hurricane. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. Oh my gosh, prepare, blah, blah, blah. It's ridiculous. There's a lot of people that are like that out there. And I'm here to tell you, no, there is nothing in the Atlantic or the Gulf right now. No, there is not. Right now, it's just the Eastern Pacific that we're watching, which could become a concern for like rip currents and coastal impacts along western Mexico. We'll have to watch its track too, because it seems like the latest spaghetti models here, kind of has this thing kind of turning back towards western Mexico, which by then it should be fairly weak, considering it's going to be, pulling in that dry air and stuff at that point in time. So, that is that. Anyways, let's see. What's up, Sonya? Hope you're doing good. What's up, WWT? I don't know if I already said hello to you yet, but welcome. Good to have you here. So we'll have to see. Yeah, now what a lot of people are referencing to is 360 plus hours out of a low going in the Gulf. And people are making that headlines as, oh my gosh, there will be a tropical cyclone. No, it's just too far out, dude. It's way too far out. It's hard to forecast what we can do tomorrow to take it. I mean, we have a good idea of what's going to go on tomorrow, yes. But a week at most, seriously. And that's being generous, is about what we can look at. Anything further is in La La Land. It is in whateverville. It's just too far out. Now, if something does become a concern, which, I mean, yes, we are going into hurricane season. If something does eventually come to be a concern, then yes, we will let you know. Okay? But as of now, once again, Gulf and the Atlantic, we are good. Okay? Gulf and the Atlantic, we're good. Right now, it's Eastern Pacific's time right now. This is the first storm in the Eastern Pacific that we're watching here. So, anyways, moving on. Severe weather dying now, so slowly thinking it's going to be a dry June. I don't know about that, WWT. I don't know, man. Hey, have you seen the GFS and Euro? They have an agreement here. Let me bring this up real quickly. I'll show you. We could be coming into an early severe weather pattern for early June. And let me show you why. Here, let's hop back to this. So this is the GFS. I know it's very stretched. I'm sorry. I had to kind of make it fit. It works. It works good enough. But anyways, so this is our jet stream, right? So this is our mid-level jet. This is 500 millibars, which is roughly about 20,000 feet or so up in the air. So anyways, we work our way down in time here. You can see as we approach our way here kind of into the early side of June, we kind of get this big dip in the jet stream, this big trough that comes down here, which could work its way throughout the plains and the Midwest. And yes, this is pretty far out. And like I was just mentioning a minute ago, yes, it is hard to look out a week or more. But there is an exception sometimes if you have a lot of model agreement. For example, GFS here shows this jet, this pretty strong mid-level jet, which could bring the kinematics, the good organization for storms that potentially could develop in the region. And then, of course, you got the Euro. Look at that. Really not much far off. Those are the two main models, the GFS American model and the ECMWF European model. In which, what do you know? The European model also suggests a pretty strong mid-level jet in that trough, working its way down from the southwest into the plains and out there towards like the Midwest and stuff. So, with that being said overall, I'm not saying that there 100% will be severe weather. I'm just saying it looks like it definitely could be quite an active period, just given that classic trough and ridge setup that we have here. This could actually allow for, really hot southeast, and bringing in a lot of moisture. And like I said, a little bit more cooler air coming in from the continental regions up in Canada, possibly cooling things down maybe a little bit for the northern side. It just depends. We'll have to see. But anyways, that is that. And I just want to leave it at that there because, this is mostly tropical related. But anyways. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, the next couple of days, we do have slight risk here. Thankfully, tomorrow, let's see here. We've been having quite an occasional few enhancements. Oh, we got a tornado warning. Where's this for? Middle of nowhere, from what it looks like. This is in West Central Texas. This is literally, I don't think there's any town even in here. I think it's just back roads and stuff. Radar indicated. Gotcha. Anyways, tomorrow we just have 2 little slight risks here and a pretty big marginal throughout the Gulf Coast here. Day 3, day after tomorrow, same thing. A lot of the Gulf Coast here is in the level 1 threat here overall. Then we go into day 4, which, what would be day 4? Today's Tuesday. So tomorrow would be Friday, then Saturday, then Sunday. So next Sunday, or this Sunday coming up here, we do have level 2 severe weather threat here for the Carolinas and even Georgia. So we'll look out there for that. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, there's really nothing in the extended range other than that. Nothing super crazy. See, it's supposed to be 90 Saturday, 50s on Tuesday. Wow, what a big cool down. Holy cow. I don't know if you noticed, heard your friend say who's seeing flooding in Texas. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I mean, here, let's hop over to the flooding outlook real quickly. Excessive rainfall. Oh, yeah. So we got a level 2 flooding threat up here in, like, western Texas going on. Yeah, includes, like, San Antonio, some of those regions out there. Absolutely. It's kind of a weird shaped level 2 risk up in the southeast too, working its way up here into the mountains as well. Tomorrow, just a level 1 flooding threat. Day after, level 2 flooding threat. And then the extended range, day 5. Yeah, not really much going on. Anyways, enough of that. Let's hop back to the tropics, y'all. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look back at the satellite imagery. You're sick of it all. Yeah, I hear you, Renita. I hear you 100%. I get it. So everybody who's just joining here, welcome. So this is the current satellite view of the storm here. This is the storm that we're watching in the Eastern Pacific. The Hurricane Center has put a 100% chance of development now within the next 48 hours. And 100% chance of development within the next 7 days. Now, here's the satellite imagery right now. I mean, you can obviously tell that we are getting some pretty good counterclockwise circulation going on here. I mean, you can see that we are definitely getting that motion going on. And that central low is, somewhere right in here. Okay, so that's kind of right where that central low is. Now, as you can kind of tell, there's not a whole lot of thunderstorm activity towards the core of this system here. There's a lot of just random scattered thunderstorms all around this storm system. So it's still very disorganized. And which we'll see what happens to it. We need a lot of that convection, a lot of that storm activity to work its way towards the center of the storm here. So yeah, we'll definitely look out there for that. But yeah, you can see just the motion here in which everything is moving. You can see that we definitely do have that on the eastern side. You can see some of those clouds working their way up here to the northeast, and if you look on the far western side, you can see them coming down to the south. And we already got a little bit of upper level venting going on here, as you can kind of see some upper level clockwise motion. That's actually the cool thing. In the northern hemisphere, the cyclone itself moves counterclockwise, but it vents in the upper atmosphere clockwise. It's really weird. It's super cool, though. It's super, super cool. Anyways, but back to what I was saying, though, is that, yeah, so the center's right here. We are getting that counterclockwise circulation. There's just a bunch of scattered thunderstorm activity. It needs to get organized better. Right now, it's nothing more than just thunderstorms. But it is rotating, and that's that. So let's see here. So we're going to hop over to water vapor real quickly. So here's the water vapor scan. I mean, you can see, once again, that counterclockwise rotation that's going on here. But you notice how it's pretty dark up in these areas here. Okay, so all this is just dry air. And like we looked at the models here a little bit ago, and which we're getting ready to do as well, is the fact that this dry air will eventually be a problem for this storm system here. Okay, this storm eventually will, or this system eventually will encounter an issue in which that will be dry air. Okay, Right now, it's thriving. Right now it has everything it needs. It has a really warm. Those sea surface temperatures are very warm. Good enough for the system itself. There's tons of moisture in the atmosphere. There's not much wind shear. It's pretty good tropical cyclone formation area going on right now. So yeah, you can start to see that rotation we were talking about. But yeah, there's a lot of dry air in the top left of the screen here. So this is up here. And eventually, as the system does work its way to the northwest, it will encounter some of that dry air, which would allow for the storm to kind of run into some problems, kind of stunt some of that convection, killing the storm overall eventually. That's eventually going to be the death of the storm. Anyways, so that's that. And that's current view. That's what it looks like right now overall. So let's take a moment here. We're going to hop you guys over here to the models. We're going to take a look here. Let's see here. I'm excited for hurricane season being here. Not excited for the people in the path. Yep. That is 100% me too. I love hurricane season and the fact I love a good storm, but I just hate the damage and the destruction they can cause to people. That's what sucks. But, just me being a storm lover, weather lover, I love me a good storm, yes, and that does include a hurricane, but not whenever they do problems to people, which there really never is a scenario where a hurricane does not cause a problem somewhere. But anyways, let's hop over to models again. We're going to take a look here back at the Eastern Pacific, of course. So first up, like we mentioned, the GFS here, and I'm going to go ahead and mention the moisture like we were looking at here on the satellite view. So let's first of all just go right back here to our moisture. Once again, the brown here representing kind of some drier air here, and the greenish blue color here representing more moisture-filled air. And right now, this is kind of where the storm is at right here. So it's kind of in this block of a bunch of moisture. Like I said, the ingredients right now where the storm is at, pretty good. It's pretty good for tropical development. But anyways, so we work our way down in time. And by the way, the time's in the, well, it's not, but now it is, in the top right, just below the barometric pressure that I have on my station. So we work our way down in time here. And you can see over the next little bit. So we work our way here into the 29th, kind of right around the late day of the 29th. And you can see that we definitely do build in, still have a pretty good amount of moisture. The storm is, likely organized pretty well at this point, because it's had time and, not much wind shear, good moisture, warm waters. So then that's there for the 29th. Now we work our way further down in time here into the 30th, and it kind of looks like here, right around the 30th, midday, late day, it looks like that's kind of whenever a lot of the moisture or a lot of the dry air starts to get infiltrated into the storm. In which, that dry air we were looking at on the satellite view starts to kind of, get to the storm system and, allows it to kind of lose a lot of its kick because of the dry air, allowing the storms, the convection within the system to not be able to fire. Because, for thunderstorms, you need moisture. And whenever you introduce a lot of dry air, it gets rid of convection total. Which would allow for the storm to just weaken really quickly because it can't sustain itself. It can't keep itself going. It just dies out. Same like fuel in a car, man. If you run out of fuel, you're done. You can't go anywhere, right? Same thing for this, The dry air is you running out of fuel in your tank and essentially just bogging out. So that's that. So we work our way further down in time. And of course, this system, according to GFS, could go towards western Mexico, but more than likely it would be fairly weak by the time. I don't think we're going to have like any hurricane or even probably not even tropical storm landfall for Mexico. Some of the models do have it kind of swinging back towards Mexico, but there's a likelihood that by that time the storm system would be a lot weaker by the time, then probably more to just a bunch of rain showers at that point. But one thing is that, even if the storm does pick up quite a bit of strength, this thing could throw some pretty strong winds, across some of western Mexico's coast, and which also could be a concern for rip currents. Like I was mentioning earlier, it's warming up out there. Everybody's wanting to go to the beach. Everyone's wanting to get out and do stuff. And the problem is that, you want to go to the beach. go out in the water, have no idea about the storm system, it can pull you out. So remember, rip currents are very dangerous, and you need to avoid them at all costs. Even if you say you're a good swimmer, some of the best swimmers can't even get out of a rip current. So I'm just warning you. So just if you're out there, if you're visiting West Mexico on the coast for some reason, just be aware about this and don't go far into the water. Okay. Anyways, so that's that. That's what we got going on there. European model, the ECMWF here, kind of the same story. You know, dry air eventually does get to the storm system here. You can kind of see starts to infiltrate right around the 30th. You know, GFS also picked up on that kind of occurring. A lot of the moisture you can still see kind of working its way up into Mexico, which, you know, at that point, there's going to be likely a lot of rain for Mexico. You know, pretty good amount of moisture. You can see that the SQTs here are very saturated, indicating that our temperature and our dew point line are literally overlapping, which makes humidity 100%. There would be clouds going way up to the ceiling here. So yeah, there would likely be a lot of rainfall to occur across a lot of Mexico, and that's going to be kind of the main concern, I believe. You know, obviously Mexico's, geography is very mountainous, in which the valleys could easily become flooded with water. And so just if you live in Mexico, just central Mexico, definitely is going to be a pretty good shot for a lot of flooding. So keep an eye out there for that. I'm sure at some point the Hurricane Center will issue, once they start issuing advisories on this system, they're going to indicate, or they're going to show the WPC forecast for the amount of rainfall. But we're going to hold off for now because it is still a couple of days out still, and things can change, especially when talking rain accumulation. So we're going to hold off on that for at least now. Tomorrow we might mention it, because we're getting a little closer, but we'll keep you updated. Definitely keep you updated. Let's see here. Let's see. It wouldn't be hurricane season until the first Weather Channel reporter of the season isn't broadcasting from an area of highest winds while clinging to a street lamp for dear life. Are you talking about like Jim Cantori? I love him, dude. He's something else, man. You know it's bad when Jim Cantori pulls up in your neighborhood. That's the ongoing Florida meme. Love it. Love it, love it. But anyways, yeah, so like I mentioned, same thing. You know, Euro also just kind of shows that dry air just getting to the storm system, which, yeah, it seems very likely. I mean, once again, satellite imagery I can show you guys once again on the storm system here. We hop back to the satellite imagery. You see this dark stuff up in the top left. So there's a system. There's a lot of moisture here, but up in the northwest, there is a lot of dryness. You can see black indicates dry all levels, in which there's a lot of that. So that's going to be the death of the storm, essentially. Will be just a bunch of dry air getting to it and killing it out, essentially. Anyways, one thing I did not mention, Eastern Pacific, let's take a look at the waters. The waters are actually fairly warm out here. You know, the storm system kind of right in here. Temperatures of the ocean are ranging between 29 to 31 degrees Celsius, which at bare minimum for sea surface temperatures, you need those to be 26 degrees Celsius or greater. That's kind of bare minimum. That is not a problem. Like I mentioned, the storm right now is in a great environment. It has everything it needs. No wind shear disrupting the storm's organization. Plenty of moisture, you know, the continualized convection, and a lot of warmth from the waters is really keeping this thing going, in which that is that. And so not only, of course, that dry air eventually will kind of get sucked into the storm here, but as this thing kind of approaches towards, the southern end of Baja California and the Gulf of Baja California, there's a good chance of it actually running into cooler waters too, below the threshold of 26 Celsius. So it wouldn't be able to develop or sustain itself even longer because of that as well. So not only are we likely losing moisture, not only is there a lot of moisture being lost, and not only is there a lot of dry air getting into the storm system, but there's also going to be cooler waters that once it kind of ends up, it'll be too cold for it, right? So that's just going to allow for an immediate death, which would be good. is actually really good, because if it was, say, warmer, say there's a lot of this region that was still relatively, 29, 30 degrees Celsius, and of course, there was still plenty of moisture, then that could really be a problem for like Western Mexico and Baja California. But since there's still a bit of cooler cooler sea surface temperatures, as well as a lot of dry air going to be flooding that storm, alert's pretty low, Anyways. Severe weather should be bad in early June. Yeah, like I said, we were actually looking at that a little bit ago. But yeah, it does look like it's going to be potentially pretty active in early June. We'll have to just see how that goes. But anyways. But if you guys have any questions, we pretty much went over everything we really needed to. If you guys are just tuning in here for the first time, obviously welcome. It's good to have you guys here. If you guys have any questions on the tropics or whatever, let me know. We're here in the chat, and we're going to be heading off here probably in about 10, 15 minutes or so, just to do a quick little hour update as we usually do. It is kind of getting late too, and there's a few things I do need to do. I need to straighten up some stuff. So, before I go to bed and all, so we're going to be ending this momentarily. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, hey, don't hesitate to ask. We are happy to be here to help. And let's see here. Drew has a question saying, will Augusta, Georgia get tornadoes on Friday? So as of right now, there is no risk for severe weather here coming up on Friday. Actually, you know what? Hold on a minute. Let me bring this up real quickly. Was it Friday or Thursday? It's Thursday, right? Thursday we have the oops. Yeah. So, actually, you know what? Never mind. What am I saying? For some reason, I was thinking the day 4 hour was on Thursday. Oh my goodness. My bad. Yes, we do have a level 2 threat for portions of Georgia, of course, and the Carolinas that we do need to look out for. Now, tornado-wise, here, let's bring you guys back over here. So for you, and we'll bring up our convective outlook here. Whoops. I love how it just takes me random places. We love that. Let's see here. So probability, day 4. There we go. All right, so let me go ahead and re-put in Augusta, Georgia here. If it'll even let me. Hold on a second. This thing's being stupid. Okay, there we go. I don't know why it took me a minute. Proxy coming in with 10 gifted memberships. Holy cow, dude. Proxy, thank you so much for the 10 gifted on top of the $100 from earlier and a Category 3 membership. Holy cow, dude. Proxy, thanks for the 10. I appreciate that. That was very sweet of you, my friend. Thank you so much for that. That was really, really nice. So, I can't even English. Big shout out goes to you, Prox. Thank you so much. That was really, really nice of you. You guys, please give Proxy a big thank you, especially if you did get a membership from Prox. It would be greatly appreciated. But thank you, Prox. Once again, I really appreciate you. So Augusta, let's take a look at the jet stream and kinematics here. Let me see if tornadoes could be a concern here for Friday. So let's hop back. Let's see here. Let's go to the southeast, and we'll take a look. So Augusta, Georgia is right here, okay? So, first of all, let me pull up our lower-level jet stream here. We're going to need to actually look at the long-range model here, the GFS. So, here for later Friday, it does look like we have a lower-level jet, easterlies of about 35 knots. Roughly about 5,000 feet or so. We have a 35-knot wind barb up there. So that's easterlies, or winds flowing east, I should say. It's actually westerlies, but winds going to the east. In terms of mid-level shear, see, there's not much veering going on. The winds are actually fairly consistent throughout the different layers of the atmosphere, meaning they're mostly flowing in the same direction. So that right there, oh my gosh, it looks so bright. That right there, yeah, you can see that the column here is mostly linear. the winds are just flowing. While the winds are increasing in speed with altitude, which is, kind of expected, the wind direction's not changing, leading to a straight hodograph. So no, it does not look like tornadoes would it be a concern, at least in this sounding here. There's like almost no helicity either. Effective inflow layer is under 100. So, yeah, no. But I will tell you that there is going to be potential for like damaging winds and stuff on a sounding like this. Indicating decape values, a good almost 900 joules, which decent. But yeah, you can see that our hodographs are linear mostly. You'd want some curvy hodos, some big arches in your hodographs in the lower levels. For that tornadic concern, essentially. So, to answer your question, probably not, but we'll have to continue monitoring it. We'll see what happens, because between now and Friday, there is a possibility there could be some changes. So, we shall see. Let's see. It is early for a hurricane. Yeah. I mean, at least here in the with this storm that we're looking at in the Eastern Pacific, I don't think it's going to be a hurricane. I'm not going to say it's not 100%, but more than likely it's going to be a tropical storm. Anyways, I think early June is going to be the first sign for hurricanes in the Gulf. You don't know that. We'll have to just see, I mean, yes, there could be some indicators towards it, but you don't know that for sure. We'll just see. Typically a lot of the activity starts to really ramp up. There's actually a chart that I've always went off of. Bring it up. I bring this up every year, literally for like the last 4 years or so. I've been doing this. Oh wow, why is this so low res? Hold on, let's get a better one. Goodness, it's a little rough. It's like 200 by 200 pixels. Buddy. Let's see. Maybe if I click on the image? Possibly. Maybe. Okay, never mind. I just wanted the darn image, man. That's all I need. Here we go. This might work. Good enough. You know what? It works. There you go. Yeah, so it's really not until like August, September, October is when we get the peak activity. June, July are usually pretty calm. I mean, yes, there's a small gradual increase in activity as sea surface temperatures and stuff start to warm up. But yeah, it's not really until you reach like August, September, October until you get the big stuff, like a big fire. Peak activity is like the second week of September. That's typically early second week of September is whenever the peak hurricane season is. But yeah, usually June and July are pretty calm for the most part, on average. But we'll see. See you later, WWT. Proc says, Andrew, always happy to support your channel in any way I can. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see here. I will say, though, typically in the Eastern Pacific, does start earlier than the Atlantic. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it typically does. Actually, we're already in hurricane season in the Eastern Pacific. That started on the 15th, I believe, of this month, in which hurricane season starts on June 1st. So. It scared you. I'm sorry. I don't know, man. I just wanted an image, and next thing you know, it just started playing a bunch of stuff. It's like, I don't know, man. Just give me an image. That's all I need. Oh, jeez. Anyways. But yeah, guys, like I said, if y'all have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. Stay away, hurricanes. Court, we'll have to see, man. It's going to be a pretty active year this year from what it looks like. Cheryl wants to know if there's going to be any severe weather here. Mayra says, have a good night. You as well, my friend. Good to have you here. Have a wonderful rest of your nights. Let's see, Cheryl, you, my friend, it's out here by Dallas. Okay. Gotcha. Today you're good. Tomorrow you have a potential for thunderstorms, but nothing severe. Day 3, so what is this? Thursday. You have a level 1 threat for severe weather. There's no breakdown between tornadoes, hail, and winds right now. But, yeah, there's a little level 1 threat here for Thursday, day 3. And then lastly, Friday, the only concern as of right now is for like North South Carolina and a little bit of Georgia here. So Just look out for a little level 1 threat here for Thursday. That's it. Anyways, I feel like every year's been above average. Yeah, I mean, going between 1980 and 2010 climatology data, yes, it has been above because of higher sea surface temperatures and stuff, warmer conditions observed. See, no, it's not. I think it's going to be a pretty good season, though. I don't think it's going to be quite as active as last year, but I think it's going to be active. Above a normal season, yes. As active as last year, probably not. Cheryl says, thank you. You are welcome, my friend. You are very much welcome. But going once, going twice, everybody. If y'all have any questions before I roll off here, let me know. But like I mentioned, yeah, we do have this guy we're watching. 100% chance probability of development here. The thing is starting to rotate pretty good. We're starting to get that spin to it. Convection, very disorganized. So there's still a little bit of work that needs to be done before we call this thing a named storm. But when it comes to it, there is definitely going to be potential, or this thing will likely become not a hurricane, tropical storm. It's definitely quite possible. Hurricane, unlikely, I'd say at this point. There's really not a whole lot of models that suggest it. I wouldn't rule it out, though. Can Missouri get a tropical storm? There's no tropical cyclones going to Missouri. I mean, do you mean theoretically? Yes. In theory, it is possible for a tropical storm to impact Missouri. And how you would get that done is a Gulf system going at high speeds, high strength, moving very quickly so it doesn't have as much time to destabilize. It is theoretically possible, yes. Even up north in Illinois, it's even possible. If the storm's moving fast enough and it's strong enough. Anyways. Let's hope Augusta, Georgia doesn't get another hurricane. Florida, Georgia, we got hit pretty hard. Also North Carolina too. Got hit really, really hard last year. Really hard last year. All the flooding that we had from Helene and the landfall towards the Big Bend of Florida from Helene. Then shortly after we had Milton, which I was in the eye wall for, which I was not fun. It was fun. It was bittersweet. The storm itself, I had a blast going through the storm, but after the storm, it sucked, dude. Losing the power sucks, man. Renita, thank you so much, Tropical Storm Club, for 2 months. I appreciate it. Saying, is that for me on Friday? Yes. Yeah, you're right on the edge of it. You're right on the edge of that 15%. But yeah, technically speaking, you are in the risk here for Friday. So keep an eye on it. Be weather aware. I'll make sure to keep you updated though over the next couple of days. We're not just gonna leave you in the dark. We'll make sure to be updating you guys frequently. I've been doing a lot of storm spotting streams lately. Today is Saturday. No, today is Tuesday, my friend. I don't know where you got that from. Oh man. Anyways, folks. Going once, going twice. We're going to be rolling off here soon. Once again, I appreciate y'all for joining. And once again, a big thank you to our supporters for helping us out. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Proxy, seriously, thank you so much for the support. Chris as well, thank you so much. And Renita, thank you, guys. Really appreciate the contributions to the channel. I really appreciate it. Let's see here. We'll probably either have a tropical depression or tropical storm tomorrow. We'll see. We will see. Let's see here. Did I get snow when Florida had that big snowstorm? No. That was mostly for northern Florida. I live in central Florida. I live in this part of Florida. Right here. They got a lot of that snow up here towards like the northern side. The continental side of Florida, I consider this like continental because I get a lot of that continental air coming through, but I live in the central side where we get the water. No, Mark, we do not need snow. I would literally die. Also, Evan, instead of saying you have a question, you can just ask it, dude. Oh, shoot. Why not? Because it's too cold. Too cold. I used to be able to handle it, but not anymore. Not anymore. Dude, 60s used to be nice to me. Now it's cold. It's a whole different world down here. you get adapted to it. You never turn back because it bites you. It bites you. Even when we had that snow, it was like 40 something degrees here. I was freezing, dude. Thank goodness this place has good heat, though, where I live. Anyways. No, Drew. Absolutely not. I highly disagree. All right, everybody. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for now. I appreciate y'all for joining. But yeah, tomorrow on the table, we might do another storm spotting stream because we are actually in the forecast to get some storms here where I'm at again. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, that's really about it. We'll keep you guys updated. Also, I'm planning on doing a video tomorrow too. I plan on doing an update video for you guys. So we'll keep you guys updated with everything. And alrighty, everybody. Hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your night. Actually, good morning to you because it is now Wednesday. But all right, everybody. Y'all take care. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and we'll see you guys in the next one. See you later, everybody. Thanks for joining. Catch you later on.